Paulie malignaggi of a Paulie TV. Fury versus Usyk. Usyk versus Fury 2 is over. Alexander Usyk defends the title, retains the title over Tyson Fury in a fight where, you know what, I wouldn't say it was the most exciting fight, a very tactical fight, but, you know, Tyson Fury tried a couple of things differently. You know, I think he did try to, you know, make it a little bit physical in the second half of the fight, but I'm not sure if that was by design or if that was just because he was getting tired. He was trying to hold on a little bit too much. You know, we saw Fury weighing real heavy this time around, and we expected him to, you know, try to make it a physical fight. But just as I said, Usyk's not the easiest guy to track down. These are not the legs of Deontay Wilder where you just walk up to him and push him back and try to put him on the back foot. Usyk has those angles. He spins around constantly. He can create new punch angles. And he's constantly has those little feints and herky-jerky moves where he's, you know, going underneath the lead jab of Fury, coming over the top with left hands. I like that he kept setting that trap with the jabs to the stomach and the left hands to the head. A couple of times it worked, and he was able to land some clean shots. Listen, Fury didn't perform bad. He had a couple of sharp 1-2s in the fight. You know, we saw the black eye of Usyk with on his left eye from some of the sharp right hands. Fury did landed some decent uppercuts in the fight. But overall, you know, the energy of the fight, the way the fight was carried, the way the fight was dictated, it was dictated in a way where, you know, Alexander Usyk was deciding what kind of fight they were going to fight, you know. And I felt like it was competitive the whole way, but I felt like Usyk sealed in the last two rounds. Those last two rounds, I felt like Fury did more looking to hold, try to waste time than he did trying to win the rounds. And that was really gut check time when, you know, you had a competitive fight. I felt like Usyk was, you know, maybe slightly up going into the 11th round, or maybe the fight was even. But those last couple of rounds sealed the deal. I don't think you can have a question mark as to who really should have deserved to win the fight. Now, Alexander Usyk wins this fight. Now, where does that leave him legacy-wise, you know? I know after the fight they were talking about him fighting Dubois. I don't even think he has to. He may want to, because he may want a more secure win over Dubois than the controversy of the fight they did have the first time around. I feel like that controversy is based more on the fact that his footwork was, you know, affected by the wet ring and the rain in Poland than it was by anything Dubois did. You know, when your footing is thrown off a little bit, you got to move in and out, and you got to have that. You're a footwork kind of fighter. A wet ring will affect that. So I feel like, you know, yes, the body shot from Dubois in that fight was legit. I don't feel like it was low, like it was cold. But I also feel like he probably doesn't land that shot if Usyk's feet are underneath him correctly, and he's able to spin around and sidestep and do the way he does things naturally. But regardless, we may get that rematch, and that could be interesting nonetheless. I think that it would probably seal the deal on anything remotely controversial about Usyk. I mean, he's been dominant at cruiserweight in a very, very stacked cruiserweight division. To be honest with you, I think Usyk's cruiserweight division is more difficult than the cruiserweight division that at Holyfield ended up unifying in the 80s. You know, I think Usyk is probably, you know, is in the conversation for greatest heavyweight, one of the greatest fighters of all time for sure. But, you know, I know we have the love affair with Ali and everybody else, and obviously that's for a lot of reasons. And he's amazing, of course. You know, I think Ali's the greatest of all time. But I think that, you know, in today's era, we give less room for a loss. For example, we have less forgiving of a loss. You know, all the greats of the past had losses, and we're less forgiving. For example, if Usyk was to lose any single fight, we would never even have that conversation, right? But the fact that he's got to stay undefeated, be an Olympic gold medalist as Ali was, undisputed cruiserweight champion, undisputed heavyweight champion, in a very tough cruiserweight division and a pretty tough heavyweight division as well. I think the fact that he's been undefeated the whole way at least earns him the respect of being in that conversation, and you have to at least talk about it. You know, I know it's a conversation that a lot of emotional people would rather not have because they want to have the love for their old school fighters, and of course I love the old school fighters too. But you've got to allow the modern greats to also be in that conversation. I think Usyk is certainly in that conversation, and you know it can be debated at least in the very least. If he beats Dubois handily in the fight that they may want to make, that's nothing for sure. Listen, Dubois has to beat Parker. He probably has to look good beating Parker in order to create that curiosity about a rematch with Usyk. But nonetheless, say for argument's sake he does beat Parker, I think you got a fight with Usyk and Dubois. I personally don't agree with Usyk. I think he should retire. He's about 37 years old. You're putting yourself more at risk. I think his legacy is unbelievable right now. Dubois win could secure it even stronger because, again, the controversy of that other Dubois win, but I don't think it's necessary. Lennox Lewis didn't really close the deal on Vitali after beating him. You know, he didn't give him that rematch. He just took the win, and you know what? Lennox is looked at overall as maybe the second greatest heavyweight of all time behind Muhammad Ali. So if Lennox gets that love, and I think rightfully so, and Ali gets that love, I think rightfully so, I think Usyk also should get that love, rightfully so, because he's put together a lot in his career, both in the amateurs and the pros. Not ironically, Lennox was also an Olympic gold medalist. Ali was an Olympic gold medalist, and of course Usyk was an Olympic gold medalist. You know, I think these three guys have really set themselves apart from all the greats in heavyweight history. And the conversation certainly should be had. You know, where does Tyson Fury go from here? You know, his only two losses are to Usyk, you know, and Usyk has been amazing. And you say with Fury, oh, he's been inconsistent. He's just got the 3 fights with Wilder. But remember, he also is the guy that unseated Vladimir Klitschko, who was a reigning champion for over a decade, you know. So you can't forget some of the performances Fury's put on either, you know, and also the dominant performances in fights where he was supposed to win, but he also did a good job in those fights as well in terms of, you know, how dominant he did look. Sometimes he's been inconsistent, but I think that trilogy with Wilder really cements him. And I know people have criticisms for Wilder, but he's one of the hardest punchers ever, and he's one of the most dangerous guys in the heavyweight division ever. And Fury, to go through 3 fights with him like that, I think deserves a lot of credit. And also was very, very competitive in the 2 fights with Usyk. Listen, he lost both fights, but I think he was competitive, and he's been a handful in the heavyweight division. And I think for a guy in any other era, you know, maybe he is the best of his era. Who knows? You know, he has 6'9" guy like Fury, you can fight like Fury. Put him in another era, you know. I don't know what you guys think, and I know, again, this is a sentimental feeling, but nobody wants to talk about the fact that Fury in any other era could be a handful for all those guys as well, you know. So you know, it's weird now because he happens to have Usyk in his era, who is obviously the best one of the era. So does that set back the way we view Fury? Because I think Fury's also been a very, very terrific fighter, but you know, a lot of question marks. Let me know what you guys thought of the performance. Let me know what you thought of the decision. I mean, I've heard 1 or 2 people tell me they thought Fury won the fight. I really don't see any way you can give Fury the fight, but nonetheless, Usyk with a great performance and a really legacy building victory. Now has won 2 out of 2 fights against Tyson Fury, and you know, has become lineal heavyweight champion and cemented that in this era, and was also lineal cruiserweight champion as well. So you know, let me know what the conclusion is for Alexander Usyk in the eyes of you guys. Let me know where you rank him as far as all-time greats. Obviously, I think we all agree he's an all-time great, but where you put him and what you think of that. I'm Paulie Malignaggi, guys. This is Paulie TV.